Hello again, this is Eric Miscoll, publisher EMSNOW, and this is the official second edition of the Eric Miscoll Show here at IPC Apex in San Diego. With me today I have some colleagues. I have Elliot Shev with Sumitronics. Why do I keep wanting to put you on Sumitronics? You, I will remember, Juan Arango with Co-Young, and of course Phil Stoten of Scoop. Want to start with you. It's interesting because you're within EMS, and if you think of the EMS industry and if you think of growth and if we think of the industry and what fuels that, you know, over the last many decades, it's always been kind of a product or a sector driven, right? So I think about whether those be servers, whether that be cell phones, whatever those were over, you know, PCs, all of those things. It seems a lot of the focus moving forward is automotive. To me, I mean, there's no new apps coming out, new things that are out there, but the automotive sector seems to be getting more and more as more electronics get into that. Am I wrong here? What are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. The automotive sector is growing. The automotive sector is a big contributor to the part shortage we all see because cars are becoming all electronic. Every place you go in a car today is a small computer or other instrumentation, the HMI, the human-machine interface, the center console stuff. Every place you go in a car is electronic. The exterior lighting on the car, for the most part, is LED, all electronic. So all this move to electrify cars is causing growth in the industry as well as shortage of material, because the suppliers can't keep up with the specialty parts that are required because they're automotive grade parts, and out of every production batch you only get so many that meet that criteria. So yeah,
definitely. Juan, what you're doing, I interviewed you before. We talked about automotive, we talked about the growth in Mexico, the industry there. How are you seeing that?
For us in Mexico, that's where the growth has been. Automotive is very strong, and that's our leading sector. So for Co-Young, over 40% of our business is automotive. So like he said, with all the electronics in the boards, it fits well with us. The other thing that we feel helps to contribute is, in automotive, you get contracts for various years. So the ROI is easier to explain because you see the train coming for a long time.
yeah.
So where an EMS, if you do something today and a different thing tomorrow, they turn off the switch, you got nothing. So automotive is a lot more predictable.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting sector. Before we go on, because we got some industry experts, I just wonder, does anybody know who this good-looking guy is that I've seen here? I have not seen him around the show. But seriously, on the automotive side, I was at CES before this and then was in touch with what was going on at the Detroit Motor Show. CES is becoming an automotive event, and Detroit is becoming a technology event as well. Major launches of technology, Byton with their basically smart device on wheels, a 48-inch screen and touchscreen control in a car. And that's a production model. That's not just a prototype. So that's creating all kinds of different demands and all kinds of challenges for the supply chain, challenges for inspection, challenges for manufacturing. It's an exciting space to be in right now. And I kind of wonder whether that is maybe driving a lot of your R&D demand and your demand in terms of having that high level of accuracy, high level of traceability that people are demanding, and then that just benefits all the other sectors.
So for us, that demand, technology-wise, not so much on the automotive side. They do a lot of electronics, but typically they are probably one step behind in the miniaturization and the complexity. And now with a lot more of electronics in it, it's catching up. But historically, automotive wasn't the frontier, leading in the small. The cell phone is usually the one that likes the miniaturization.
Yeah.
You can put so much in such small space.
Yeah, and that smartphone technology is part of what's ending up
Correct.
in the same space. So even if it's not naturally miniaturized to fit in a cell phone. It's miniaturized because it's part of the technology. A lot of this is happening in Mexico as well, isn't it? The automotive sector in Mexico seems to be moving pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's really big in the Bajío area of Mexico. You'll find all the automotive suppliers, Bosch, Continental. It's those kinds of companies. They're all over central Mexico. San Luis Potosí has all these companies supplying, because the car manufacturers are building manufacturing plants there. So, you have Volkswagen and Mazda and GM is there and Ford, and everybody makes cars there. So closer to the end point of use, which is good. A lot of the products we make here in Tijuana go to central Mexico. We make a lot of entertainment systems, HMI stuff, center console, that goes down there, as well as lighting.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the complexity of some of the systems in a car today, they're quite amazing.
Yeah.
That how they all can interface, not all of them, but a lot of them interface with your cell phone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's
So,
that CarPlay thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting in your car and you get a text message and the car just reads it to you.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so every year there's just more and more in the car.
Yeah.
And there's another part of the car that's electrified.
Yeah.
So another computer. So one thing I tell everybody, if you buy a new car today and you want to keep it beyond the warranty, get an extended warranty. It's
Yeah.
all electronic.
Yeah, and that's where you're going to get the failures. I'm curious how much that trade that you're doing is impacted by tariffs and NAFTA agreement and the replacement of NAFTA, and what impact that's having on you and your customers, and whether it's causing any shift in demand.
So, okay, so we're a maquiladora, and we operate under NAFTA rules, which are still the rules, and therefore we bring all our material in that we buy most direct from the manufacturers, and it comes in bond. So it comes into Long Beach primarily, and it moves directly to our warehouse, to our factory. It becomes another product made in Mexico and gets brought back into the U.S. or gets transferred internally to Mexico, and all that paperwork goes with it, goes into the car, comes back as made in Mexico.
Yeah.
So the tariffs don't affect us in our situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we had a factory here in San Diego, where we are at the show,
Yeah.
we'd be paying tariffs.
Yeah, it would be a big
So
impact.
because of that situation, we're in a good position, and we've been contacted by people who are suffering from the tariffs to do their work.
Okay.
Because we can save
Yeah.
some money.
So the tariffs are maybe creating an opportunity. Mexico's amazing for Koyoung. Every time I'm down there, I see more and more Koyoung equipment. You're pretty much selling a machine a day these days, and plenty of them are going to Mexico.
Mexico this last year was not quite 55%, but very close. In the past, they were usually about 48. So a lot of the work from China is moving to Mexico, and automotive has always been strong there. But now we're getting companies that left Mexico coming back to Mexico. So it's very competitive. And in Mexico, they have a lot of talent, well-educated engineers that can provide a very high-end product.
Yeah, Mexico's really stepped up, hasn't it, Eric? You're seeing much more innovation there.
Oh,
Way better
absolutely.
technology, and
Yeah.
it's always been a great place to manufacture.
Oh, it has been for years. I mean, since everything shifted to China all that time ago, right? Mexico did a great job of sustaining it, keeping it stable, having for a lot of good things. What I wanted to check with you too, with the time we have left, is what else are you noticing at the show? You gentlemen, you've been on the show today. You're going. Are there any themes or anything that stands out to you? Is there anything that you guys are noticing that's particularly positive or unique or missing even?
So what I've noticed is we've been talking about Industry 4.0 for a long time. And this year they have lines upstairs that are communicating, and all different vendors. It's not just one. So we're getting close to realizing what we've been talking for several years, that some people call it touchless line or a zero-person line. It's basically, you don't want human intervention if you don't need it. So the communication among all the companies is now a reality, because we only play in one space, but we have to play nice with everybody else, or we can't play.
Yeah, that sense of collaboration, I think, is something that I've noticed a lot, and that foundation of CFA.
How does that
Yeah,
impact you? You're the EMS, you have all this going on. A lot of this is
Right.
being developed for the benefit of you guys.
So I think maybe we're a little unique, is that for the past 10 years, we've been running a fully integrated factory, because all our equipment talks to it. We have our own software that we run our factory with, and everything talks to everything. We know when a part comes in the door, we label it, and we know where that part is until it dies, because we know where it goes. We know where it is in the factory. We know where it got shipped. We can trace anything about that part. I know the operator working on the SMT line and the exact moment the part's replaced. It's to that detail. So we have had this kind of system for traceability, which kind of makes our factory attractive to people, especially in automotive. As an example, we had a report of a failure at our customer, not at the OEM in the car, but in their production line they had some failures, which is kind of odd for this part. We immediately could isolate it to every part in that batch, every box in their warehouse that contained those parts, so they can contain it.
Yeah.
So within 24 hours, it's contained. Now we can work on the problem. But without this system we have, we wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You know, we made parts and shipped them. So I think that Industry 4.0, especially when it gets to the masses, we don't sell our software. So maybe we should, but we don't. But it's great,
Yeah.
because these tools help you manage things
Yeah.
in a way that we couldn't do before.
Well, hopefully, Elliot, the key of what's going on upstairs with CFX and Hermes, the outcome is when you
Yeah.
buy your Co-Young machines, the connectivity becomes pretty instantaneous and much easier. So that's the
Standards
finale
help.
for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Standardization
It
in the
helps.
communication protocol is key, because we all
Absolutely.
do things a little different,
Yeah.
but we have to talk to everything in the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's really good.
Okay.
I think that's big advance. We've been talking about it 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah. Time to get
it's
it done.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, pastime,
No,
right?
it's
So,
nice, yeah.
or you got to
Absolutely.
start selling your software. So
Yeah, not going to do that.
Yeah.
they're not going to do that. No.
We
That's
don't wanna be in
proprietary.
the software business.
No, I don't.
We don't want to be in the software business.
No, you don't. Listen, we need to wrap this, but I want to say thank you to both of you just coming, spending the end of your day, sharing, kind of your insights and your opinions here with us. Phil, as always, thank you for
Absolute
sitting
pleasure.
in. It's always good to get your insights from all your travel. So, gentlemen, thank you. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Absolutely.
We look forward
Thank
to it.
you.
Thanks.